Hello, and welcome to the Cyrex Academy. I'm Robin Puglia. I'm a clinical nutritionist, certified functional medicine practitioner, and the Cyrex VP of Education for the UK, Europe, and Ireland. In this video, I would like to introduce you to Cyrex, who we are as a company, and what we stand for, what our ethics are, and what our values are. To start with, Cyrex is a specialist functional immunology lab. We are focused on assessing, understanding, and educating practitioners on environmentally induced autoimmunity. We have a series of proprietary tests and patented panels and laboratory techniques. We have an absolute commitment to providing gold standard, impeccable testing techniques and laboratory science. We have an advisory board made up of both clinicians and researchers in order to provide you with that intersection between cutting edge advanced science and technology and the coalface of clinical practice where the rubber actually meets the road. We have implemented the 4 pillars of excellence, and I will be elaborating on what those are and why they're so important and why they help us to stand out above the crowd. Now, I can't talk about Cyrex without talking about the work of Dr. Aristo Vojdani. So Dr. Vojdani obtained his master's and PhD in the fields of microbiology and clinical immunology in Israel, with postdoc studies in comparative immunology at UCLA and tumor immunology at the Charles Drew UCLA School of Medicine and Science. He has devoted his entire professional career to understanding the immune system and advancing the understanding of the immune system for everybody around him. He has been at the forefront of food reactivity testing since its inception, and he has been absolutely fundamental in changing the global conversation around autoimmune disease. We owe a lot of our advanced education and advanced clinical practice knowledge to the work of Dr. Vojdani. So Dr. Vojdani has 15 US patents for laboratory assessment of immune disorders. He has published more than 170 articles in magazines and peer-reviewed scientific journals at the time of this video, and he is continuing to publish every year. His research has resulted in the development of more than 300 antibody assays for the detection of autoimmune disorders and other diseases. He sits on the editorial board of 5 scientific journals. He is the CEO and technical director of Immunosciences Lab in Los Angeles, California, and he is also the chief scientific advisor for Cyrex Labs. Why do we care? Why are we doing this work? Why are you doing this work as a clinician? You know, this work is deeply personal. Autoimmune disease affects between 6 to 7% of the population of the EU5. So the EU5 is France, Germany, Italy, Spain, and the UK, and also the USA. Autoimmune disease can dramatically affect the quality of life for patients and their families. Autoimmune disease is recognized as a major health crisis in the United States and in Europe. You know, today, more than 50 million Americans, 80% of whom are women, suffer 1 or more autoimmune conditions. 30 years ago, only 1 in 400 people developed an autoimmune disease. So autoimmunity is part of this rising tide of chronic immune-mediated illness that is really overwhelming our Western society and also our healthcare systems. Today, it's thought that 1 in 12 people in the Western world, 1 in 9 women have an autoimmune disease. And more women are diagnosed each year with an autoimmune disease than breast cancer and cardiovascular disease combined. Autoimmune disease is not automatically about mortality, but what we are talking about often is years of pain, years of suffering, years of loss of life, where people aren't able to meet their goals, to go to work, to spend time with their families, to spend time with their loved ones. Autoimmunity is present in the body for years or even decades before it reaches end-stage diagnosable disease, and early detection is critical. If you are able to detect early that a problem is occurring in the immune system or in the body, then you are provided with this unique window of opportunity to identify what the underlying immune dysfunction is, identify what the triggers are, and potentially intercept and react in a way that can alter the course of that person's life and the trajectory of their health or disease. Understanding each individual's unique combination of triggers allows for effective, personalized interventions, and this is key for effective management in clinical practice. It is the difference between targeted, personalized protocols that are able to actually work to replace generalized information, generalized dietary protocols, generalized interventions that may or may not work depending on what the individual needs of that person are. So we are unique. There isn't anybody else out there that is providing what we provide. There isn't anybody else out there that are providing tests and laboratory assessment that even comes close to what we are actually able to provide. That our absolute commitment to gold standard, impeccable testing techniques and laboratory science, that the results that you receive are accurate, that that you can trust and rely on the test results that you receive from our labs, and that we will provide you with the support and understanding not just of the results themselves, but how to interpret those results and how to put what you're seeing on the tests into the context of the person that you're working with. So translating the science into the reality and the advice that you're able to support the families and the affected people with. So thank you very much for joining me. Welcome to the Cyrex Academy. I sincerely hope that you will learn everything that you need to know. I'm here to support you as a practitioner, and I look forward to diving into all of the science and information with you. Thank you for your attention.